Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah, my dear learners. Hope that you are very fine by the grace of Almighty Allah and Alhamdulillah and so, my dear learners. This is MD Saif from Islam and assistant teacher of Ordinary High School of Bangladesh, and you are most welcome in my Saiful English Academy again. Today's class I have been present in contact with a new arrangement, a new class with the reference of my previous two classes about filling gaps. So, my dear learners, now take a look at the board and try to understand. About the roles of filling gaps in my class number one, you were told that, my dear learners, about various kinds of philosophies, definition of them with examples. And in my class number two, about rules of filling gaps, you are told about audition of a noun in a sentence. My dear learners, let's hold that, my dear learners. How many places a noun can be used or replaced? You will have to mind that, my dear learners. From my previous class, class number two, you were told that, my dear learners, there are 8 places of using or replacing. That means replacement of a noun. You were told that, my dear learners, number one was that at the place of a subject, at the number two, at the place of an object, after an adjective, after a preposition, after an articles, after any possessive adjective, after any demonstrative adjective, and finally we're told that after conjunction that, my dear learners, with the reference of my previous classes, students class have been present in front of you, named how to identify a noun to see various kinds of suffix. Various kinds of suffix. So, my dear learners, now take a look at the board and try to understand. You will have to mind that, my dear learners. So we can identify a noun to see various kinds of suffix. Of course, you know that, my dear learners. So what's a suffix? Suffix means a word or a group of words which is used after any disorder keyword. After any disorder keyword. Of that you know all about suffix and prefix. My dear learners, you have to mind that various kinds of suffix to identify a noun among various kinds of types of suffix in my classes. I'm trying to show you about 25 categories of suffix, such as ear, or, or, shun, Asian, shun, shun, meant, dumb, less, idiom, ty, ants, ins, age, hood, sheep, ivy, chase, ist, ure, ure, tude, a-n-t. So, my dear learners, now let's take a look at the board and try to understand. So now, I'm trying to show you this suffix with some examples. So, my dear learners, now let's take a look at the board and try to understand. My dear learners, number one suffix was that er. You have to mind that there are various kinds of noun in our grammar. We can see which possessed ear as a suffix, such as teacher, teacher, learner, teacher, player, say. Okay, my dear learners, take a look at the board and try to understand. The key to of all words such as teacher, learner, teacher, player. Of course, we can see the suffix er. So, my dear learners, of that you have understood clearly. Second suffix are. Second suffix are. For example, a writer, maker, 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 dancer, etc. Next, come to the next point, or. For example, visitor, visitor, director, director, cultivator, cultivator, etc. Okay, my dear learners, next find, come to the next point, TION, short. For example, position, action, motion, etc. Come to the next point, Asian. For example, we can write education, narration, motivation, etc. Middle learners, next point. Take a look at the board and try to understand. Number six, SION. For example, revision, vision, television, so how vision. Okay, maybe next point, SION. That means right pronunciation, revision, vision, television, supervision. You'll have to mind that, Netherlands. We can say at the kitchen Florence section of suspense of word as a suffix SION. Most of the students, that means most of the people, we pronounce this suspense of words short. But as like as a British and American, according to the right rules of applicable rules of pronunciation, the right pronunciation of this word, not revision, revision, vision, not vision, vision, television, not television, television, supervision, not supervision, supervision. Now that you have understood clearly, come to next point, double SION. Okay, my dear learners, for example, admission, admission, permission, discussion, etc. Okay, my dear learners, hope so that you have understood clearly. Think about your the suffix meant. My dear learners, take a look at the board and try to understand meant. For example, betterment, establishment, establishment, judgment, judgment, etc. Next, come to the point, dom. For example, we can say freedom, freedom, wisdom, kingdom. Next, martyrdom, martyrdom, etc. Next point, next suffix less, any double s. For example, politeness, sickness, illness, weakness, brightness, etc. Okay, my dear learners, that you have understood clearly. Next, to find my dear learners, number 11, idiom, ISM. For example, patriotism, hero, idiom, patriotism, etc. Patriotism, heroism, capitalism, capitalism, etc. Next, suffix cy. For example, illiteracy, democracy, captaincy, supremacy, etc. Okay, dear learners. Next, find ty. Ty. Septum, orange chain, this orange chain, prosperity, prosperity, etc. Next, suffix a and ce. For example, importance, importance, guidance, guidance, ignorance, ignorance, etc. Now think about next suffix ence. For example, presence, absence, dependence, independence, independence, etc. Of that you have understood clearly. Magellanus. Next, suffix. Think about number 16. AGA. AGA. For example, shortage, shortage, marriage, heritage, homage, etc. Now think about next suffix wood. Hoog, wood. For example, boyhood, childhood, adulthood, etc. Okay, my dearness, hope that you have understood clearly. My dearness, now think about next suffix ship. Number 18, ship. For example, friendship, partnership, partnership, membership, color, shape, etc. Okay, my dearness, hope that you have understood clearly. Next, suffix, my dear learners, named ing. For example, we can write walking, swimming, fishing, gardening, writing, etc. Okay, my dear learners, now think about next suffix named gas. Gas. Strength, health, oil, date, birth, etc. Okay, my dear learners, hope that you have understood clearly. Now, think about next suffix number 21. 21. Named IST. IST. For example, my dear learners, dramatist, dramatist, scientist, typist, typist, novelist, novelist, etc. Okay, then let's now think about U R E. U R E. For example, future, culture, nature, mature, etc. Okay, my dear learners, now think about next next suffix cult number 20 short. For example, attitude, attitude, multitude, aptitude, aptitude, etc. Next suffix 24 al, al, array, arrival, arrival, survival, survival, etc. Next suffix number 25. 25. 25. Named A and T. A and T. Accountant, for example, accountant, accountant, assistant, consultant, consultant, etc. Hope that you have understood clearly. My dear learners, in this class, I'm trying to show you some um, suffix by which we can easily identify noun. So, my dear learners, I have a suggestion for you, my dear learners. You'll have to memorize and try to save in your memory to identify noun from various kinds of sentence. You may memorize and try to save in your memory, such as here, are, or, shown, ation, shown, random. Shon, in this way, my dear learners, ER, R, or, Shon, Asian. Ya, A, Wa, Shun, Asian. Next, Shun, Mendom. Shun, Mendom. Okay, next. Mes, Idom, Si, Chi. Mes, Idom, Si, Chi. Mes, Idom, Si, Chi. Ants, Agehood. Ants, Agehood. Ants, Agehood. Ants, Agehood. Next, Sheep in Chase Estate, shift in Chase Estate, shift in Chase Estate. Next, you already cured all and you already cured all and you already cured all and you may memorize and let me say in your memory to identify any noun from any sentences and if you notice any gaps, sustain the position and sustain of suffix after any words added in situation, you may consider sustain the words of course noun. So, my dear learners, I don't want to learn into this class, but I want to share some information with you, my dear learners. Of course, you know that I'm a new teacher or new channel, teacher or new tutor in YouTube channel, and I'm trying to use English conversation at the time of making various kinds of video classes. So, my dear learners, if you notice any faults or mistakes in any of my video classes, please excuse me and pray to Almighty Allah so that I can help you. I can start your joy through my various kinds of video classes throughout my life. So, my dear learners, normal today. Come to see you again with a new artisan class. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.